Hi everyone, Charlene Ortiz here. Today I'm going to do a video on a topic that I feel very strongly about, and that is the topic of fat acceptance and the body positivity movement. This is a video I've wanted to do since I've started my channel. It is a movement that I have a lot of problems with, and I wanted to just talk about why I think it's such a dangerous movement and why I think it is certainly a fatal mindset to have for those of you that embrace fat acceptance and body positivity, and everything that goes along with it. This is not targeted towards my normal audience, which is people that suffer from chronic illness. But again, it is more so for people that have just decided that they're going to be obese or morbidly obese, live in denial that there are no consequences, that you should just accept it and embrace it, and that everybody else around you should accept it and embrace it too. So there's definitely a culture that has developed on YouTube over the years that to me is very disturbing. That is a culture of people that are obese, and especially morbidly obese, that pretty much exploit their obesity in order to have a YouTube channel and make revenue. I'm not talking about people that have channels where they're starting like a weight loss journey and they kind of want to document everything that they're doing, and they want to inspire people, and they actually have lost weight, like they actually are making progress and working towards those goals. I know there's a lot of channels like that exist, and I think that's wonderful. And I think for those of you that are working on improving your health and your wellness, I think that's awesome. Just keep going, never give up. And I think it's wonderful that you have a channel that you're trying to inspire people to follow your lead. And I think that's fantastic. But just the community of people that, especially things like people that do mukbangs, especially if you're someone who is obese. It's definitely a community that I do not understand. It's a mindset I don't understand. To me, watching somebody who is obese doing a mukbang is equivalent to watching someone who's a heroin addict shoot up, because it is equivalent to that type of damage to your body, where you're basically just displaying incredibly self-destructive behavior to make money, to get views. And I don't understand it. It's something I just don't understand. And so for those of you who are watching my channel for the first time, which I'm sure there's a lot of people, obviously I have a small channel, nobody knows who I am. I've been a personal trainer for 20 years, and I specialize in working with special populations. And those are people that have any type of chronic illness or limitations or disabilities where they need a little bit of extra care, a little bit more patience, someone who will understand their illness and their disability a little bit more, and someone who can't, do the typical spinning class or, whatever types of workouts that are available to the general public. But there's a lot of people out there that suffer from a lot of different limitations that they need special care when it comes to developing a health and weight loss or just wellness program. And I decided to work with this population because of my own chronic illnesses that I suffer from, which I'm not going to get into. I have talked about it in other videos, but I do talk about it in detail in the very first video that I've ever did. If any of you are interested in watching, I'll put a link in the description. But again, I'm not going to get into it just because I already talked about it several times. So, but in that demographic of people that I've worked with are people that are morbidly obese. Because of course, when you're 400, 500, even 600 pounds, obviously it's not realistic for you to be able to engage in a normal workout program. Number one. Number two, often people that are that large feel embarrassed, and they don't want to go to the gym, and they feel like they'll be judged, and people will look at them, and so they decide to hire someone like me that's going to not judge them and have a little bit more patience, and will know how to work with somebody that has the limitations that they have. And someone who won't focus on, oh my God, I can't believe how big you are, so that's definitely not my technique when I'm working with someone who is morbidly obese. Certainly we have to understand how they got themselves there. But it's certainly, I definitely don't like to focus on everything that they do wrong or that they've done wrong, but instead just, I'm here, obviously, you hired me because you want to make changes and improve, and that's what we focus on, just moving forward and improving their quality of life. And so, being in this industry for the past 20 years, I've seen a lot, and working with a lot of the morbidly obese people I've worked with, I've seen a lot of the emotional and physical damage that has been done to their bodies, as well as their loved ones, people around them that care about them a lot and are, part of their everyday life. I've seen just the impact it's made on them and everyone around them, and it's been devastating to see. And again, that's one reason why I've dedicated my life to helping, this demographic, because there aren't a lot of trainers that do want to work with that population of people, because it does take more work, it does take more patience, it does take more education. And so I see that there's a lot of people that, they really feel lost. They don't know where to start, they don't know what to do. And, they need someone to help give them support and guidance, just to help them improve the quality of their life. And they're tired of living in a body where they feel imprisoned by their weight and living in constant pain because of it, having constant limitations, and just feeling helpless and vulnerable. Because when you are grossly overweight, it does in many ways make you helpless, because there's so many things that you can't do for yourself. And so that's one reason why I feel so strongly about the fat acceptance movement, and it infuriates me and it angers me, and just this culture on YouTube that has developed on people exploiting their weight. I don't understand why YouTube allows it, but YouTube allows a lot of stuff that shouldn't be there, but whatever, that's a whole nother video. But anyway, it infuriates me, because I've seen firsthand what it does to people. So this video, I'm going to do several parts. Number one, because my phone doesn't, I record everything with my phone, and it doesn't record for that long. And so I'm going to do this in several parts. And number two, just because I don't want to make this a really, really, really long video. I'd rather make it shorter videos that people will have a better attention span for. So I wanted to share just some personal stories of people that I've worked with over the years, and just some of the struggles that they've endured because of their weight and because of their poor choices in lifestyle. And people that just really didn't think that there was going to be consequences, or had a mindset where, I know I need to change, but I'll get to it when I'm not as busy, what have you. And just what they went through and how it impacted them and their families. I don't want to talk about all the different health challenges and just kind of cite off all the different diseases that obesity can cause, because I think there's already a ton of videos out there that people just kind of list all the diseases. I wanted to share personal stories of people and just the consequences that they suffered from being obese. The first one, and I don't want to say any names, even though the first one is someone that I worked with when I was a young trainer, which was 20 years ago. So I doubt, anybody watching this would, or anybody who knows me or whatever who's watching this would know who this person is. But anyway, it's a woman that I worked with when I was a young trainer, when I was living in San Jose. And she was about 360 pounds when I first started working with her. And obviously, she came because she wanted to lose weight. She was starting to feel, the consequences of her obesity. She had 2 children, a 16-year-old daughter and a 10-year-old son. And, she, understood I want to be around for my children, for many years to come. And she was a professional woman, very educated, very intelligent. She was the vice president of the company that she worked for. So she, was very busy. She had a lot on her plate. She was a pretty important woman in her company, so again, she definitely was a very sharp, very educated woman. That I really enjoyed working with her. Well, the first, I guess I would say the first month that she started training, she did very well. She did really well. She came in 3 days a week, and we started very slow with just really basic movements. And after a couple weeks, she started to see improvements in strength and even started to lose some weight. Her nutrition was definitely the biggest challenge, which it is for pretty much every single person I've ever worked with. Nutrition is always the most difficult thing to change. But she was working. I mean, she was making efforts. She was trying to drink more water and eat less sugar, but she was making an effort. And the first month that we were working together, she lost almost 20 pounds, which was, fantastic. And after about, I guess, 6 weeks, she started to cancel her appointments because of her job. Again, she had a very, very, I guess, fast-paced type of job, and so there were, days she had to work long hours. And this was in the late 90s when the dot-com industry was really starting to take off in Silicon Valley. And so a lot of people, had jobs that were very intense where they worked long hours. So she started canceling her sessions, and little by little, started coming only twice a week, once every other week, what have you, and becoming less and less consistent. And I would call her every week. I was very diligent about it. And if I couldn't talk to her, I would talk to her daughter, or I would leave a message on their answering machine, because we had answering machines back then. And I would, always say, hey, just calling to check in. I know you're busy, but remember, your health is priority. And there was one time when she came in for her session and she hadn't been consistent. And I did, have a very serious talk with her and try to explain to her, look, I understand your job is important and you're very busy, but your health is priority. I mean, without your health, you have nothing. And I try to explain to her, you really need to make this priority. You really need to make sure that you're trying to get some type of activity in every week. And I even gave her exercises she could do at home to make it easier for her, just anything, just to keep her consistent and on track with her program. Well, eventually she just kind of stopped coming. And I still called every week. Left messages, talked to her daughter. I rarely was able to talk to her. And I still left messages, trying to get her in there. Well, after several months had gone by, work really started to pick up because, again, it was Silicon Valley. A lot of people were becoming millionaires overnight. It was crazy. So a lot of people were getting personal training. And I got very, very busy, incredibly busy, because people had a lot of money to spend. And it was, it was awesome for me. But I got really, really busy, and I wasn't able to call her every week like I had. And so several months had gone by, maybe 2, maybe 3 months, I can't remember exactly. And I was thinking about her, and I thought, I need to call her and I need to see how she's doing, because I haven't called her in a long time, and I need to follow up with her and see how she is. So I called, and her daughter answered the phone, and I said, "Hey, sweetie, it's Charlene. I was calling again for your mom. I just want to see how she's doing, and try to get her back into the gym, all that stuff." And there was just silence. And her daughter was like, "Charlene, my mom passed away." And I didn't know what to say. I was just absolutely devastated to hear that. I couldn't believe it. And she said that her mom died of an enlarged heart, and she basically just had heart failure and died. An enlarged heart is a very common condition that people who are obese do develop, and can ultimately kill you. And I was just, I was dumbstruck. Like, I didn't know what to say, and I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I can't believe she's gone. I was like, I don't know what to say. I'm so sorry. Is there anything I can do? Do you need to talk? I don't know what to say. And she said, thank you. And she said, thank you for trying. And then she hung up. And I had a client that was coming in, and I went outside and I cried. I bawled. Actually, I bawled. And I couldn't believe that she was gone. I couldn't believe that she died. And she left her daughter and her son behind. And I felt a lot of emotions at that moment. I felt responsible. I felt angry at her because I felt like, this could have been avoided. You left your family. I felt guilt. Maybe I should have tried harder. Maybe I should have actually gone to her house. What more could I have done to help her? This is my job. This is what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to help people, avoid this. So there was definitely a lot of emotions that I felt. And I did later talk to my manager about it because I was just so upset. And he was like, you did everything you could. Obviously, in our line of work, most people won't see a client die. That's not common, but it can happen because we are often working with people that do have severe health problems. And sometimes they're not willing to do what it takes to get better. So this is part of the job. This is something that could happen, even though, again, it's not common. We're not doctors, we're personal trainers, so it's not common, in a personal trainer's career just to lose a client like that. So anyway, after her death, that was definitely when I had decided that I wanted to dedicate my life to help people that had severe and specific limitations, just to help them improve the quality of their life. And I thought, I don't want her death to be in vain. And I also want to share her story with other people. Not to be morbid or dark or anything, but just to kind of, help people understand, like this is serious. If you don't deal with your obesity, especially if you're morbidly obese, you will die. The people that love you, the people that are around you, will suffer the consequences of that. You'll be gone, and the people, and you'll leave all these people behind that are now damaged and devastated, and it's going to take years for them to recover, and some of them may never recover. And it's been 20 years now, and I hope her daughter's doing well. She was a very, very sharp, bright young girl. I didn't know her son. I never spoke with him. I spoke with her daughter. I met her one time, but she was a beautiful, beautiful young girl. But, now she's, in her 30s, and I hope she's doing well. I hope that she's been able to move on, and I hope that, she took something from it in terms of being committed to take care of her health and wellness, because she wasn't really overweight. She was a little bit chubby, but definitely nothing that was extreme or anything like that. So, but anyway, so I'm gonna stop with that story again before my phone turns off and it gets too hot. In my next video, I'm going to tell a story about 2 more people that I work with. To be honest with you, I could probably sit here for hours and tell stories. Not of people that have died, but just the devastating consequences I've seen. I could go on for hours. I've been doing this for 20 years, but I'm just going to share, 3 stories, for this video series. But yeah, so, for those of you that hung in there this long, listen to that whole story. You know, even if you don't accept the fat acceptance movement, but you're somebody that you need to lose weight, you know it's something that you know is going to be an issue, and you know it's something that will shorten you. I mean, this is a real problem, and again, you know, you could lose your life because you know of the choices that you've made, you know, and the choices that you're not making, you know, to take action and to do something about it to improve your health. And so, all right, guys. So again, my next video is going to be 2 more people, and then I'm going to do, I don't know how many videos this is going to be, but I also want to do thoughts, you know, more specific thoughts on this movement, you know, all that. Certainly the purpose of this is not to fat shame. It's not to make fun of fat people, so if there's anyone here coming for comedic value, you're not going to find that. This is going to be a very serious series, you know. Again, just to, you know, share my thoughts and why I think it's a horrible a horrible movement. So, all right, guys, thanks for tuning in for this long. I know I ramble a lot. As always, I appreciate your time and attention. Remember, take care of yourself, protect yourself physically and emotionally, and don't forget, your health is your most valuable asset. Invest in it. Bye-bye.